Tonight on The Living Room.
If you've got a friendship that, like 40 years, there's this lot, it's substantial.
I tap into my contact list and Miguel and I cook up a couple of chooks for old friends.
There is seconds, isn't there?
While the good times roll. Our resident vet is far out to sea, collecting whale snot.
Smells just like a mermaid.
Barry finds his inner Woody with a DIY Wild West party. And later, we all party hard in a disco inferno.
Have you broken your nose, Miguel?
It's stainless steel.
Sure, OK. We're all intact? Good. Hello there, hello, and welcome to The Living Room. Now, it's winter, it's freezing.
That's the air conditioning. It is freezing.
I know, isn't it? We should all be home in a nice warm bath. Well, not together, obviously. I know what Barry does in the bath. But you know what? I actually begged Channel 10 to let me do this show live from my bathroom at home.
I thought you were going to say with me in the bath.
Because I have in my contract, I only do nude scenes with Koshy, you know that.
See, I knew you'd regret having that written in.
Why did I put that in my contract?
We talked about that.
I know, Chris. So what have you got tonight?
Well, in potentially the most awkward and potentially dangerous segue ever attempted on Australian television, I have a story about another beautiful, majestic creature who also likes to be in water.
You know, that would be flattering if I didn't know you had a story about whales and snot, Chris.
Correct. I told you it was a dangerous segue. You may not realise it, but the majority of the east coast of Australia is actually on a highway, an ocean highway, which the humpback whales use to travel up and then back down the coast. And that's where we're heading right now to see if we can get up close and personal with some humpback whales.
With the help of the Maritime Services, I'm heading just over a kilometre out of Sydney Heads. Each year during winter, thousands of whales follow this route as they migrate up the east coast of Australia from Antarctica to the tropics. And one scientist who's very interested in their movement is Dr. Vanessa Perotti.
How many whales do we think are actually using this highway here?
We know that this population consists of over 30,000 individuals and they're growing at around 11% each year. So there's a lot of whales and a lot of potential for sighting off here, off Sydney.
Yeah, right.
But it's not just the sighting of these creatures that were almost hunted to extinction that Vanessa is interested in. She, wants to collect their snot.
A couple of whales just over here who are fairly relaxed. And that's the whole point. These whales have been through so much over the years with whaling and their population declining. If you're going to do a health check on them, you want to make sure it's completely pain-free and completely stress-free, and that's the great thing about the way we're doing it today.
Vanessa and drone pilot Alistair Smith have developed a unique way to collect whale snot samples.
So you made this yourself?
Yeah, this was developed for this task specifically. It's light and waterproof, and it's designed to carry the petri dish, which sits right here.
This is going to be able to get obviously closer than we can to the whales.
That's right.
And then all the pressure's on you to make sure you get close enough, but don't put this thing in the water.
That's it, that's it.
So we have a good situation right now. We've got some whales that have just come out to breed. They're moving obviously north. Is this when we launch?
This is a really ideal time because the whales are behind us. We're not in their direction of travel, which is really important. We've got the weather right, Alistair's ready to go, and we're all settled on the boat, and then we're just going to wait for that next up.
Okay.
That's them, Alistair. It's perfect.
All right, you ready to go?
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Alistair has to fly the drone directly through the whale's spout to collect the perfect sample. But there are a lot of contributing factors. Weather, wind direction, but most importantly, the whales themselves.
Oh, far out!
Who don't always play ball. We've got special approval to fly this close. Otherwise, drones must not be nearer than 100 metres to the whales.
Oh, that was close.
Whales have two nostrils just like us, but they're positioned on the top of their heads. As they break the surface to take a breath of around 5,000 litres, it's that massive water disturbance that Alistair relies on to time the drone's approach successfully.
That was unbelievable. It was the big blow and then the scoop through.
I can barely see where I'm going, there's so much snot.
That was textbook sample. Now we just got to land the drone safely. Well done.
That was like the most perfect one ever. Almost making this look easy. I need to stop.
I'm overwhelmed at how good that was.
I want to do something I've arguably always wanted to do. Can I smell a whale's breath off that drone?
Definitely. Here we go.
Well done. Look at that. That is absolutely coated in whale snot. It's not offensive. Wow. It smells just like a mermaid. Mermaid that needs to brush her teeth and cut back on the whole seafood diet. Clearly this is a very good sample of snot with a lot of droplets in there. But what are you actually going to look for in here? Obviously bacteria, viruses, that sort of thing?
There is, and that's the kind of the question we're trying to ask. We're trying to use this as an early warning monitoring tool of population health, especially because this population is doing so well and growing a lot. We can now look at a microscopic level changes in their population health over time.
I'd imagine, though, if the population does start to drop for any reason, if hunting begins again or if there's a lack of food, then stress becomes a factor, which weakens immune systems, and anything in here could become a real issue.
Yeah, that's one component, but there's a whole host of other things that we can look for. Hormones is a great example for looking at stress, but the nasty bacteria are the ones we want to look at. We can compare our whale snot samples with other whale snot samples from around the world.
Yeah. So can you actually tell things like sex and even age from this?
Age is a little tricky, but sex, yes, we're starting to do that. And at the moment, what we're trying to do is really collect that baseline information, because until recently, collecting whale snot like this to learn more about their health hasn't really been done. So this is a great new insight, using new emerging technologies to do just that.
Amazing and appalling all at the same time.
True.
Is that the biggest creature you've ever had to consult?
There was that one time I treated your dog, Minnie.
Oh, come on. She's on a diet. Let it go. But one of the main things we're going to learn from there, it's basically their health, isn't it?
It is like a health check. As they've come up all the way from Antarctica, they bring all the little bugs they accumulate with them. And so there's sort of a travelling band of bacteria and viruses. And so we tap into that by taking that sample as they're breathing out off the heads here. And that's incredibly useful to monitor where their health is at right now. And if it changes over the next few years, we know there's something really dramatically wrong in that population. And it could be a really important safeguard to protecting whales.
So that's the snot. Is the word ambergris? What's that stuff that they make perfume and things out of?
Yeah, so that's a different thing. It comes from sperm whales. They were humpback whales. It comes out of the... it's like a big, oily mass of intestinal juices out of sperm whales, which they vomit up.
Like a hairball.
Yeah, that they bring up. Instead of a cat bringing it up on the carpet, they bring it up in the ocean and it washes ashore.
Who would look at that and think, I'm going to make perfume out of that?
I know, but if you find one of these lumps of ambergris, it's worth about $100,000.
Really?
It's very valuable.
Oh, keep looking at the snot. Maybe you could make that snot smell a little bit better. All right, well, still to come, Barry channels his inner cowboy to turn an ordinary birthday party into something wild. And after the break, hold on to your whale hankies. It's... room. Now, I don't know about you, but with all this frosty winter weather, I've been on the lookout for something hot. Well, that's a terrible shame, because it's time for Hot or Not! Yeah! We won't find anything hot here, well, not usually, but maybe tonight we might get lucky. What have you got, Barry?
Amanda, it's winter now, but I want to take you back to the 17th century. We have a little boy...
called Barry Dubois.
He's walking home from school, OK? He's walking home from school, and he's in Holland. And he sees a dike, and in the dike There's a leak. Now, the little boy knows if he doesn't plug this leak up, the whole of Holland could be flooded. So he stands there and puts his finger in the dike. He stayed there all night and he was a hero of Harlem. But imagine this. Imagine if he had some flexi tape. It's wider than duct tape, but it can be used in areas of moisture.
Barry, you're going to have to move your finger. It makes me very anxious.
I am.
Barry, this is making me want to go to the toilet. Hurry up.
Yeah, there you go. So, the good thing about this tape...
Barry's dreamt of a flow like that for years.
Come over here. Come over here, Chris. Now, the little boy that had his finger in the dike didn't need glasses, but I do. So what I have to do is get my mate, little Hans. There you go. If you use if Hans, they didn't actually know the little boy in the dike's name, but if he had duct tape, it wouldn't have worked. He had flexi tape, he would have been able to save the whole of Holland.
Well, let's see, Barry. Big talker.
He simply slaps it on. And as the boy with his finger in the dike said, "Ya good."
Sit down, Barry. You enjoyed yourself there. But Barry, that was an extremely impressive and a little history lesson at the same time.
For the young ones.
Very nice. Well, let's see what people think. Do you think the flex tape is hot or not? Barry, very impressive. All right, Chris, you've got a lot to live up to. What have you got?
I do. I don't have a history lesson. I've got a recent history lesson for you. But you just saw me out collecting whale snot and we were talking about whale vomit. And I have a confession. I was battling the elements, the wind, the cold, the ocean currents. But
Not some pictures I saw. It was beautiful out there.
It was actually amazing out there. But also I was battling motion sickness. And it's a curse that I haven't lived with for years.
Don't show off, because I get very motion sick. So if you've got a solution, I'm happy to hear it.
But behind the scenes, the one thing that was saving me from motion sickness was the anti-motion sickness glasses.
Are they designed for a spider? What's going on?
Science is what's going on, Amanda. So these have a special blue liquid here, which, much like a horizon you're meant to look at to avoid motion sickness, if I tilt my head or encounter any sort of motion, they give me a constant point of reference, like a horizon. See that? I'm twisting.
Are you tricking your brain into thinking the horizon's
stable?
Steady.
It's just letting me know that I'm feeling this motion, and these are feeling it too.
What are the ones on the sides doing?
I think they're just there for aesthetics.
Look, we can't replicate seasickness in here, but if you were to stand up, spin around, walk in a straight line...
Hang on, are you doubting the science?
Yeah, I'm doubting it a little bit.
So, I mean, we'll try to replicate the motion. I will stand here and maybe spin around. OK, the liquid's certainly doing its best to try and save. It's going around in circles,
Hope you land in the pool.
Oh, I know, with his bum. And now I'll do the easy thing. Walking completely straight.
And how do you feel? How do you feel? I'm over here, Chris.
I don't feel great.
Well, it's been a very interesting display. Shall we see what people think?
Do we have to?
Yes. The seasick glasses. Hot or not? Well, if you weren't feeling well before, you won't feel great after that. I'm sorry, Chris. It was a knot.
I understand.
All right, Miguel, bring it home, baby cakes.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you. Let me put the thing on. Allow me to introduce you to the party in my pants. The disco drone ball. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna get the fiesta activated anytime. Ready? Be by the fiesta!
Yeah.
let's not go anywhere. The fiesta's not finished.
There's nothing I like more than a disco ball that can cut your face off. Good on you, man.
Oh, come on, let's get the fiesta started.
Okay, Miguel. Thank you. Let's just... Okay, thanks. Bring it down. Oh, stop. Stop it, Miguel. Oh. Has anyone got the taser?
Welcome to the fiesta!
Stop, Miguel. It's judgment time. All right. The disco drone. First, we've had a drone collecting snot. Now we've got a disco drone. Do you think it's hot or not? I think you got more of a not than a hot, and I'm surprised by that. So what did you think? Do you have... Thank you, Miguel, if you could turn that off before I give you a nipple cripple. Have you got an extraordinary story involving a drone?
I have.
Do you? What happened?
Yeah. I love drones. I'm obsessed by them. So as soon as a new one comes out, I race up and get one. I go up to the Apple store at Bondi Junction, right? Imagine this. I paid 200 and something bucks for this drone. I thought, this is the gun one. Get home, download the app on my phone, set it up, get the kids crowded around like I'm going to be the hero. And I start it up, just like that, and just goes... Flew all the way back to Bondi Junction. Never saw it again.
You never saw it again?
That was it. It's the fastest 250 bucks I've ever seen disappear. Never, ever saw it again.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well, look, please, let us know on Facebook if you have a drone story. But up next, Brian, Sam, Rachel, Jackie and Miguel. Stand by for my A-list party. Woo! Come on! To the living room. Now, you know what? I'd like you to know I'm not actually as bad in the kitchen as some people on these couches would have you believe.
Oh, and I'm not one of them. You are very talented. You're an amazing baker.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, if I just cook for the family, I'm pretty good. But when people come over, something about the pressure of entertaining other people, I will stuff up the most simple recipes. So, recently, I thought, who can I call on to help me make a decent meal? So, of course, I called Barry. Barry was a little bit busy, so obviously, Chris.
Thank you.
Overseas. Thank you very much. So, stuck with Miguel.
Amanda, I love you very much. And even if I'm third best, I love to be your friend, so I came to help you. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go.
How good is this? And thank you for helping me today.
Well, I'm excited just to be here with you, Amanda.
Now, you have suggested if you have a big group of people, the best thing to do is just roast some chooks. What's the best way? What's something fancy? Show me your technique.
I'm going to show you all the steps with the garnish, the veggies, the stuffing, and a really nice moist chook.
Let's do it.
Amanda and I are making the easiest roast chook ever. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you.
Am I going to have my hands in a chicken?
The first, yeah, you're gonna have your hands in the chicken.
Jewelry
so maybe
off.
Take all the jewelry off. The first thing we're gonna do is...
Maybe you could as well. You've got more than me.
So the first thing I'm gonna get to do, maybe just chop a couple of them.
Into what?
Just into half. We are using squash, fennel, and beetroot. It looks stunning already.
Look at that. What's that?
There's a golden beetroot.
Oh.
When I put a few of these little chunky little carrots that look stunning. And now what I'm gonna get you to do, get a little bit of olive oil in here, don't be shy. Lots of it. This is something that you
What's
should not
your
be shy.
version of lots of it?
Like lots of it. So when you think it's enough, you put a little bit more and that's enough.
Tell me when to stop.
A little bit more of olive oil.
As the actress said to the bishop.
A little bit more olive oil.
More?
Yeah, so you want to all that to coat. A little bit of salt, big pinches.
Oh,
and now pepper.
Yeah.
And now I want you to get your hands in there and just...
there?
No, in here. That looks amazing.
It's
right?
delicious. Let's just eat this raw.
The fancy salads. So that is our base. Now stuffing. We're gonna do a really nice Mediterranean stuffing. So we're gonna think in chickpeas, white beans, lentils. Things are gonna look amazing almost as a side salad.
And you can cook them in a chicken.
And they go in the cavity. There
Excellent.
you go. So we're gonna use these lovely white beans. A couple of these spring onions. You chop them up really fine.
I'm not famous for my knife skills. Oh, these are sharp knives, aren't they?
And you drop it like it's hot. Olives. Because in Spain, everything's got olives. So we don't have to chop them, just break them through. And that's gonna give us the saltiness.
So you're pretty much shoving a salad up a chicken's bum.
That is exactly what we're doing.
Is that what the recipe's called? Fill my cloaca with salad.
So the crunch, pine nuts, toasted.
Next, we add some finely chopped parsley.
And there you go.
Can you see I've lost a fingernail?
But the way you lose your fingernail and how much it's gonna be delicious.
It's lucky dip as to which of my guests get that bit of fingernail that just came off. Look at that.
That's brilliant, it's okay.
All right, let's continue.
So I got a little bit of coppa. That's a beautiful coppa. Yeah, so this is the neck, the pork neck. Just stir it, no, not chopping, just like this. And drop it like it's hot. And that's our stuffing ready to go.
For our herb butter, we need a few sprigs of thyme, marjoram leaves, and parsley, all chopped finely.
Oh, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper.
I've learnt that a little bit of salt, a little bit of oil, a little bit of anything is a little bit of a lot.
Your butter looks better than mine.
Of course it does. I'm taking over, baby cakes.
Amazing. So now it's chicken time.
To ensure the breast stay moist, we are loosening the skin away from the meat to make room for our herb butter.
And now get a big spoonful all the way in, Amanda Keller. Leave the skin up. Just let it. That feels amazing.
But what happened? You don't leave it like that.
No, we don't leave it like that. But let's do a second loading, okay? And again, squeeze with your fingers, squeeze me. Boom.
Yeah.
Bravo. And now, and just make that thin layer that is gonna cover all the breast.
And it doesn't matter that there are some blobs of it.
Remember, the oven is gonna melt all that.
And even it all out.
And now we're going back to the filling.
And we're going to shove this up its bum.
There you go. Squeeze it in with the spoon. There you go. So you can fill every single gap.
I would never have thought to use this as a stuffing.
Now we tie the legs together with a string.
You only tie the legs, you don't tie the little arms down.
Oh, amazing. Look
Let's
at that.
face it, it's not going to be running away.
Look, you're doing a little bow.
Look at that.
Our chicken and veggies are just about ready to roast.
There you go.
Sleep well, little one.
And now a little bit of paprika, just a pinch.
Oh.
Just for the color. Fantastic. Yes!
Well, they're suntanned and they're ready to go.
Opa!
That looks delicious. Ah!
Oh!
Perfect timing. I'll go and get them.
Is that your friends?
Yeah.
Can't wait to meet them.
Sure. Welcome, Rachel. Hello. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Come on through. Yes.
Amanda.
Brian.
Hey.
Oh, long time no see.
It is indeed.
Jacqueline. Hello. Come through.
Hello,
Sam, last but not least, how are you? I know you've missed me. Come on through. It's going to be a fantastic lunch. We'll see all the action a little bit later. All right, well, still ahead on the living room. I create afternoon tea envy with some DIY. And after the break, Barry gets his Woody on for the best Wild West party ever. Welcome back to the living room. Now, Barry, if I had to plan a birthday party, I'd probably head to the bottle shop and to a party supply store. Oh, but Bunnings?
Yeah, well,
Bunnings, Barry.
There's a lot of things that allow you to be creative and bring in some DIY to the party, and often that's a good thing.
We are actually trying to look for a new tap for our kitchen.
And a new power board, because the one I've got at home just keeps tripping.
What's with the troubled looks, girls? What's going on?
We're a bit lost.
Bit lost. You're in Bunnings. What aisle are you looking for?
We're having a party for my daughter and we don't know what to do.
Did you think of a theme party or something?
Yeah.
I had a party for my twins a couple of months back, and it was a cowboy and cowgirl party.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, you up for that?
Sounds really good.
I'm going to show you what we need. Let's go.
Awesome,
Come on.
thank you.
You know what else I'm looking for? Some black duct tape.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
What kind of party is this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bam. You know what I'm using this for, don't you?
No, I don't. But I'd love you to tell us.
No, be some good surprises.
Okay.
Just grab some of those white pebbles.
These ones?
Yep. We're practically done, girls.
Perfect. Awesome.
I'm going to give best mates Kendall and Tegan a hand with a cowgirl-themed birthday party for Kendall's 7-year-old daughter Kirby.
All right, Baz, what do you reckon? Can you work your magic?
I think this is ideal for a party. We're going to build a stagecoach-style food wagon, a Wild West ranch sign, and a play area where kids can pan for gold. When is this party?
The little detail I left out, I'm sorry. It's tomorrow.
You're not serious.
I am, I'm sorry.
Listen, we've got a bit of work, so Tegan, you can work with Kyle, and Kendall, I'm going to keep an eye on you so you can work with me. Let's get cracking.
That sounds good.
Well, I want to turn this little fern table into an old Western wagon.
Wow.
It's going to be the supply wagon, if you will. So we start by cutting the sides. Kendall's a little nervous about using the power tool, but once I show her how to use it safely, she'll be cutting like a pro. When we're working through the basics, make sure there's no power source. I've taken the battery out. Then we set the depth of the blade. If I hold that on there like that, you can see that the blade is just past the bottom of the ply.
Yep.
What that'll do is reduce the friction and make it easier, less effort to push the saw through.
Okay.
You never want to be trying to muscle power tools. Next step, the cutting technique. I just want you to find your balance on the ground, visualise, see the blade and see your guide on the mark. Once you're happy, you push that button, pull the trigger and just ease the saw through.
Baz,
Whoa!
hold this.
We're getting serious, aren't
Hold
we?
this now. All right, let's do this properly.
Look at that.
That was almost perfect.
Almost perfect. All we've got to do now is screw the sides on. All right, that's the sides of our wagons. We can put a back on and a seat up the front.
All right, Tegan, we are going to have some fun. What I want to do with you is create a really cool sign, which is going to really set the tone for this party.
Okay.
Kyle starts by drawing an arch shape onto some ply, then cutting it out with a jigsaw.
There you go. Look at that arch. That's going to paint up a treat. I've got a challenge for you. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
We've got cowboy and cowgirl.
Okay.
And these are our little silhouettes that are going to screw to that sign. We're going to trace around these and get stuck into it with a jigsaw. How's that sound?
Bit nervous, but we'll try.
Righto, let's trace. There we go. Look at that.
Perfect.
You ready?
I think so.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, how did your cowboy turn out?
I think I did well.
Now it's time to screw these onto our arch. Okay, let's have a look at our sign.
I think it looks pretty good.
I reckon it looks awesome. It's time to get some paint on there, but I think I'm going to leave that to you.
While Tegan paints, Kendall's on the jigsaw, cutting out the back panel for the wagon. All right, I reckon we'll use this bit of ply here as a bit of a seat, and then we'll use one of these offcuts as our backing board. Okay. That's the wagon base done. Now for the canopy frame. You know what this is? This is electrical conduit. Okay. Now the good thing about this stuff is it'll bend pretty easily. So you can tuck it in one side, and then all I've got to do is use these little clamps. And I reckon if we put 3 of these along the wagon, the kids are going to think that's the real thing. What do you reckon?
That's awesome.
Okay, how's this look for a wagon wheel?
Doesn't look like a wagon wheel. It looks like a hula hoop.
But if we get some tape and just go from one side to the other, if you keep doing that, and then...
Looking good.
Right.
Cool, that looks good.
So now it looks like spokes on the wagon wheel. While I leave Kendall to spray paint the wheels, then give the wagon a coat of black paint, I'll get to work on an idea that I reckon will be a hit with the kids. It wouldn't be a Wild West theme party unless you had a bit of a gold rush. And it's as simple as assembling a box and lining it with builder's plastic. Now, I'm going to use this bricky sand. It's going to do two things. It's going to muddy the waters, but also make it a little bit harder to find the gold. OK, while this fills up with water, I'm going to make some gold. All we do is give our white pebbles a quick spray and then turn them into gold nuggets. We're going to throw this calico over. Now, you've got a lot of styling to do this afternoon in the morning.
Yep.
But I'm going to leave you with it from now on.
OK.
OK, I've got one more surprise, and I think I'm going to keep that from you as well. Grab the end of this. Come on.
All that. I love the wagon.
Actually, they had that trestle table at home. I just got a couple of sheets of ply, the conduit, and it's really starting to come together.
Absolutely. And the wagon wheel? Delicious.
Oh, that was just a hula hoop with some duct tape.
I saw. But Barry, don't leave us hanging. What's the surprise?
Amanda, it's a surprise. If I tell you, it won't be a surprise.
All right. Well, looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. But after the break, the who's who of Australian cinema and Miguel. To the living room. Now, earlier in the show, Miguel came to my rescue to turn a simple lunch with some very simple friends. Sure, they're incredibly famous, but they're just friends. And I had to turn that meal into something delicious. So our chicken is cooked. Surely we must be ready to go, Miguel.
You called me for a party? I will be there. It's time to party!
Here it is.
Bring it on, the chicken is here!
Miguel has helped me create the lunch today. Please, everyone, get stuck in.
Amanda, I want to know exactly which your bit is.
You'll find out eventually. While we're all hoeing in, please all get stuck in. But can I say how much I absolutely love the film Palm Beach? It's about friendship, secrets, getting older and dealing with life.
It was Brian's idea. He was the one who observed that not only he, but several of our friends were sort of in quicksand. We're sort of having a bit of an existential crisis. And I went, just my friends, normal, reeling from one crisis to the next, as you do. And he went, no, there's something different here. There's something very universal and unexamined. And I think there's a film in that.
Get down here before you kill yourself!
I've gone mad.
Hank, get down here!
Don't anyone come anywhere near me. Stop being an idiot. I hate you all, and I hate you more than anyone. No, you hate me more. No, I hate him more. He hates me more. Why'd you come? Well, it's your bloody birthday, and we're here to celebrate the rational, mature, wise old bloke you've become. Come on.
Exactly.
But it is that kind of thing, isn't it, that women talk about their lives a lot with their girlfriends, but guys don't, do they?
We rattle on about stuff, but I don't think we ever talk as intensely about what's happening emotionally to our mates.
But also, and I'm quite serious about this, you don't have to talk about a whole lot of stuff for a friendship to be important.
But I do love that the film speaks about it. This was so much more profound to me, seeing Frank's journey, because he's been dealing with a wife who's been terribly ill. That in and of itself is so difficult.
I know we don't get to see each other as much as we would like to, but when we do, I got to say it's sort of wonderful.
To friendship.
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 Ancient friendship.
And family.
All right, pass your plate.
Right, little Pino.
I knew we invited Sam for a reason.
Oh, very good.
So this is my grandfather, Sidney Neal.
Sydney?
And he was a wine and spirits merchant.
Very good.
And now I'm a wine flogger.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, here's to your grandfather.
Palm Beach.
Sydney.
Palm Beach.
Salud.
And to a bloody good feed.
Thank you,
Rachel. Great that you're there.
Oh, here's to being born ready.
One more.
You were director, Rachel. You've known these people for a long time. On the first day, did you have to say, look, I'm Rachel, your wife, your friends, but I'm also Rachel, the director, so shut your pie holes?
Did I say it on the first day? I said about every hour. There was a bit of that.
I thought we were very good. I thought we really behaved ourselves.
You know, part of it too is you needed that bonhomie. We needed the laughter, the chatter, the carry on, the ribbing, all of the fun that you have when everybody gets together.
Look at this. Brian is the fastest eater in the world.
I like my food.
He's
I'm gonna have
got
another
very
bit.
fast taste
It's
buds.
so good. How can you not want to eat it?
Exactly.
I was going to say there is seconds, isn't there?
Yeah, well, we got...
I've already had too much because I'm taking a doggy bag.
Yeah.
The two of you play a married couple. How did you go about developing your marital intimacy, as it were?
Well, no.
Well, I can't wait to watch the movie.
I've always maintained that the one unlikely thing in the film is that my character is married to someone rather younger and obviously gorgeous like Jack Mackenzie, but we're in bed. And she turned to me and she said, "Why do you make so much noise?" And I said, I'm sorry? She said, "Yeah, you make all these noises all the time." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "When you turn over, you go, when you get out of bed, you go,
And that was just his mouth.
I had no... Really, I make those noises. She said, "Yeah, you make those old man noises." I said, "Oh, God, thanks for telling me, because I'm going to stop that now. That's terrible."
You do get a certain age where you sound like Orson Welles every time you get out of a chair. So obviously we've all reached that, I think.
Oh, good grief.
But
especially after these beans.
Oh, well, they'll be different noises entirely. But I think also the setting is so spectacular, and yet I guess part of the story is that you can have all that beauty, but you can still have issues.
It can be hell up here and paradise out there.
Yeah. And do you find, as we all get older, that our friendships mean more?
Oh, they've always been important to me, but if you've got a friendship that, like 40 years with this lot, clearly it's been through quite a bit. And
Is he welling
it's
up?
substantial, you know. It means something, yeah. It means an awful lot.
But you know how when you have a pudding and there's a sixpence in it, and aren't you lucky if you find it?
Oh, my God.
We used some new knives today, and half my fingernails come off. Let me know if you find it, because it's good luck.
Is it your finger?
If you don't find it today, it'll be out in a few hours. Good luck.
And cut. Lovely.
What happened there? Where was our invite?
Brian Brown, no Chris Brown.
I'm sorry, guys. It was, I don't know, it was a bit of a VIP thing, just an exclusive lunch. What more can I say?
It was A-list. A-list.
Now, you'd be on a list. This was a list.
There's a lot of pointing going on, but no pointing towards us.
Well, let me just say this. Palm Beach is a great film, so if you get a chance, see it and support Australian cinema. All right, after the break, we finally get a look at Barry's big surprise. Welcome back to the living room. I'm loving your Wild West party, Barry, but I have to know, what's the big surprise? Is it you in leather chaps? Please tell me it's not you in leather chaps. I was joking. Tell me it's not you in leather chaps.
This is going to be awkward. 7-year-old Kirby's birthday party is about to begin. And I've got to say, with a bit of help, the girls have done a great job of turning Kendall's yard into the wild, wild west. Ten little city slickers are on their way.
All right, there's lots of gold in here.
Shake it so all the water comes out. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Look at Piper's gold. Look at all her gold. Oh, look at all that gold.
The surprise guest I've organised should be arriving right about now.
Look at that.
And partners, it looks like the cowgirl is blessed.
Dig in.
It's a pretty picture from the Wild West.
Good choice. Oh, so cute.
The chow passes the cowgirl test,
Happy birthday.
and the birthday cake is just the best.
Brilliant, Barry. I'm still waiting to see you in the leather chaps.
It's for another party.
Now, let's talk about panning for gold. What a brilliant idea.
Fun was it? I know when we had, when Leonie said to me, I want you to make a gold panning station for our kids' party, I said, that's ridiculous. They're not going to want to do that. Our kids loved it. And then I told Kendall about it. I think she was a little doubtful as well. But the kids just love it. I don't know what it is about it, but they just love that adventure.
Look, I loved all the DIY. I thought that was brilliant. But,
Yep.
Barry, I wouldn't mind your help doing a DIY with something that actually interests me, no offence.
What's that?
Need your help. Come over.
We're going to the bottle shop.
No, we're not, thank you. Well, I, like a lot of women, have a whole lot of old plates at home, things I've collected over the years. Some of them are my mum's, my grandma's, just things I've collected. What I would like you to do is to help me make a cake stand. So, you have one of these, you have one of those, you have one of those,
On top
and
there,
that
like
at the
that?
top, and you
Okay.
make like a little cake stand or a little high tea stand, making use of the beautiful plates.
You're
And
not
don't-
going to use your commemorative royal memorabilia plates, are you, Amanda? You'd never do that.
They are very special. They are locked away for my sons who really want them, Chris.
They're going to be relieved to hear that.
No, I had a feeling that's what you were going to ask me. So I got a ceramic bit for the drill. Now, all you've got to do is drill some holes in the plates, and that can be done. Then you use what we call a booker rod, a threaded bar to go through the two. Cut up some little copper, you can see that, some little copper pipes that'll separate everything. So to do that, all you need is this little specialty drill. This is a ceramic drill. Okay, it's got a little tungsten tip on the end there. You add in some...
Why have you put tape on it?
I'll put tape on it for a couple of reasons. There's little tiny shards of the ceramic that's going to come away from that. I don't want them to stay in the hole that I'm trying to drill, so the oil and the tape will allow that to move away and it won't allow the ceramics to crack.
I'm sorry I asked.
So all we're going to do is slow and steady with that, and basically you drill and drill. You don't want to go too fast because you don't want this bit to get too hot. And the oil also helps with that, so keep quite liberal with the oil.
How long does it take to drill a hole in a plate?
To be honest, it's going to take about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
What will happen is you'll get a nice little hole like that. And then basically, you see this is a threaded bar. Now, what that's going to do is slide through another one on top of another one. Sip a little separator there. You can start to get the feel of it now.
Another one of these?
Another one of those. There it is. If I had got that hole right through, we could have showed the finished job.
I do have a finished job, Barry.
What are the...
OK, because here's one we prepared earlier. Come on over.
Okay.
It's time for high tea. Yes. Hello, Vicar.
I thought you'd never ask, Amanda.
Amanda, please.
So,
like a
so this
tea.
is the one I prepared earlier. Have a look at that.
Doesn't that look brilliant?
Yes.
Barry,
Thank you.
Barry, do get your hat on. This is a...
I'll have one.
That's yours,
Amanda, would you like a hat?
Thank you, I'd love that. So, look, this is the thing. I reckon that's absolutely brilliant if you've got some old treasured plates. As Peter Walsh would say, if you're not honouring them, if you're not seeing them, stick a hole in them. And have a high tea. This looks absolutely brilliant.
Do dig in, Amanda, please.
Thank you so much, Vicar. I'm a hoe in.
Amanda, don't mind if I do.
Well, look, we're almost out of time tonight. That's the worst English accent I've ever heard, but so's your normal everyday accent. Now, who knew that DIY could be this much fun? Now, Chris, what's that?
I knew it was fun.
Put your hat. Now, I tell you what. I learnt that DIY can be fun tonight. I've also learnt that Chris has a new spin-off series, The Snot Hunter. Don't blow it. And I've learnt that Miguel can always take us out with a disco party! Thank you, everybody. Good night. We'll see you next week.